Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are learning Mishna Gittin, Parak Test, Chapter 9, Mishnah Ches, Mishnah 8, and today's Mishnah has been sponsored by the Garland children, Zercha Nishmas, in memory of their uncle, Gavriel ben Moshe Nachum, the Neshama Shavan Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay, Get Shekasavai Ivris, a get written in Hebrew, the aid of Yavanis, but the witness is signed in Greek. Yavanis, the get was written in Greek, which that was your question you had. Could it be written in another language? The answer is, you see, it could be. Not that we do, but nowadays, but that it could be done. The aid of Ivris, and his witnesses are signing in Hebrew. Edachad Ivri, one witness is signing in Hebrew. Vedachad Yavani, the other one signing in Greek. All these, the Mishnah is going to say, are all kosher, and as long as the witnesses understand the text of what's being written above them, meaning if he's signing in Greek, but he understands, if it's written in Hebrew, he understands written in Hebrew, but he signed in Greek, or the other way around, either way, it's going to be kosher, as we're going to see soon. I just want to stop here and say that's the halacha, because the next example brought down is a little bit more complicated. But the point is that even though the witnesses and the text are not of the same language, nonetheless, they can be kosher the get is kosher as long as the witnesses understand the language of the get. Now, the last case brought down is Ksab Sefer the Aid, kosher, which literally translates as the signature of the scribe and a witness. That means like this. The case is that, you look at the way that the get is written, you look at the witnesses, and you can see from the let's call it the handwriting of the get and the handwriting of the witness, that the one who wrote the get is the witness. It's not the husband, it's the sofer. And the sofer was the person who signed the get. So you have the sofer, he wrote the get. He's also one of the witnesses, plus another witness. Says the Mishnah, kosher, it's kosher. There's no problem with it. What should be the problem with it? What would I think otherwise? What would it be? Is there any reason to say that the sofer can't also be one of the witnesses? I mean, at the end of the day, he knows he's testifying to the validity of the get. He's testifying that the husband, is giving this get for this woman. So why can't he be a witness? The explanation is the following. And the point is, what I'm going to tell you right now is what I might have thought. Why I would have thought that possibly having the sofer as a witness could be a possible problem. The Mishnah tells us that there is no problem and it's kosher. So it goes like this. Having the scribe sign as a witness on the get is a concern because it is possible that the husband, a little bit of a complicated case, it is possible that the husband sent agents to tell the scribe to write the get and to tell other people to sign it. The only way get's going to be kosher is the husband basically tells the person to write it, and the witnesses to sign it. He has to appoint them. The agents, however, felt, now this is what the possible story could be. The agents, however, felt that the scribe would be embarrassed if he was not asked to sign the get, since it would give the impression that the husband did not consider him fit to be a witness. Meaning, the husband sent the people to, tell this one to write, this one to sign. He didn't tell these agents to tell the scribe to sign. He just didn't. He told other people to sign. Now, the agents are afraid that the scribe is going to get insulted. Like, how come he didn't ask me to be a witness? I could be a witness. Why didn't he ask me? It must be that he doesn't consider me kosher enough to be a witness. Doesn't consider me. He has questions about my status of being being able to be a kosher witness. And because they're afraid that that's what he might think, they therefore asked him to sign the get. So they told him to be one of the witnesses, even though he wasn't supposed to be one of the witnesses. If this is what happened, the get is invalid because it's not signed by the people the husband chose. So if you see that one of the witnesses is a sofer, is a guy who wrote the get, you may think that maybe I shouldn't be able to use this get because of this consideration, because this concern. However, the Mishnah teaches that we do not need to be concerned that this took place. Instead, we assume the husband told the scribe to sign it. You don't have to go so far to be concerned. You can assume the husband told him to sign it, and therefore it was signed. So we basically have in front of us a get presented in front of us. And we can see, or like in all other cases, we have a get presented in front of us. it was written in one language, signed in a different language. Or one witness is one language, witness another language. Or we see that one of the witnesses is the sofer, the person who wrote it. Says the Mishna, they're all kosher. And in the case of where we see the sofer is one of the witnesses, we might have thought that maybe we should be concerned that he wasn't really supposed to be a witness, but the agents told him to do so anyway because they don't want to be embarrassed. And the Mishnah tells us we don't got to worry about that. Next, a person, we know when the person signs as one of the witnesses, he writes his name, his father's name, and the word aid. Witness, which means he's saying, I am signing here as a witness. Okay, so now, what if he didn't write all that? Let's say he wrote Ish Pliny Aid. He wrote Ish Pliny, Yehuda, Aid. He didn't say Ben Yaakov. He just said Yehuda, Aid. That means Ish Pliny, so-and-so, witness. That means his first name, and then he wrote witness. Kosher. The get's kosher. Ben Ish Pliny Aid. Let's say he wrote the son of so-and-so witness. He didn't say his first name. He just said, instead of saying his first name, he just said Ben Yaakov. And he wrote Aid. Ben Yaakov Aid. Didn't write his first name. He just wrote the second half of the signature. Ben Yaakov Aid. Says the Mishnah, kosher. Kosher. Let's say he writes Ish Pliny Ben Ish Pliny. Kasav Aid. Let's say he writes so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, Yehuda ben Yaakov, but he write the word aid. The halacha is kosher. The get's still kosher. And the way they explain it here is the following. They explain that since he took the trouble to write his full name, it is clear that he is signing as a witness. Typically, we want you to write the word aid also. But if you wrote your whole name already, then we know you're signing as a witness. But let's say you didn't write your whole name. Let's say in the first cases, we just wrote his first name, or just wrote Ben so-and-so. There, the word aid has to appear. Because otherwise, it's not going to be clear enough to us that you're signing it as a witness. And then the Mishnah says, this is what the pure-minded men of Yerushalayim did. What does that mean? What was about them? These pure-minded people who did not speak or write more than necessary. What they used to do when they signed a get, they would sign their full names, but not add the word witness. They didn't write more than they needed to. They didn't say what they needed to, more than they needed to. They didn't sign more than what they needed to. And therefore, they signed their full name, Yehuda ben Yaakov. They wrote their name, their father's name. That suffices for us to know that you're signing as a witness, and that is what was their practice. Because their practice was not to write or say more than was needed. Okay, we'll continue the Mishnah tomorrow. Oh, actually, one more thing, one more part. Kasav chanichase v'chanichasa kasher. Let's say he wrote the husband's family name or the wife's family name instead of their father's name. Meaning, it's supposed to say, when it comes to the husband, it's supposed to say Ruvain ben Shimon. And it's supposed to say Rachel bas, I'm not going to say Lavan, Rachel bas Yaakov. Okay, that's how we present their names. But instead of writing that, he wrote their family name, what we call a last name, a family name. They didn't write it as, so-and-so, son of so-and-so, but rather first name with a family name. That suffice. That in that situation also, says the Mishnah kosher, the Mishnah is, the get is a kosher get. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Now this.